Hi, and welcome to a very special episode of CloudNets, where networks meet cloud. Because the value of network cloud is not theoretical anymore. We have stories from the field, and for that we brought our man in the field, Ran,
That's me.
sitting by the fireside and talking about experience with the network cloud. So Ran, tell us stories about the network cloud in the field.
Yeah, a few stories. As a newcomer, as an entrant into the network, we had some doubts placed upon us, and in a way, a few stories really tell what the details are. So obviously, there are issues with protocols and how we interoperate with other devices. That's well known. That's common. We have our experts in the field, and they know how to fix network protocol issues and connectivity. Easy stuff. That's not really the issue. But there are some items which really kind of boil down what's the benefit of disaggregation, and I will give a couple of experiences that we had. We had one case where we needed to enlarge a network node. It grew faster than what was expected. So
we're talking about a live network.
This is a live network scenario, a real deployment running live traffic, and this point of presence actually needed to grow faster than what was planned. So there were no devices. So orders were put in place. Obviously, because it's a standard, customized, off-the-shelf white box, it was easy to obtain these devices, even though they were not pre-ordered, a year in advance. So we could get these devices onto the site, but you needed to, get the right people to make the installation. Now, this device was located in a data center, and what we did, because essentially it's just adding more standard white boxes and just applying the connectivity, it automatically adheres itself to the existing infrastructure, and everything is done automatically. So what we did...
the skill set required from the one...
It was essentially zero skill set. We used the guys on site, the guys, operating the data center, doing all the day-to-day connectivity issues, and they were the ones that took in the order, put the box into the... kind of connected physically the box into the network, and then from that point onwards, everything was done remotely via software. So essentially, we doubled the capacity of that site within 48 hours from the order. 48 hours, and the site was doubled in capacity, zero downtime during the process. Everybody is happy, and you could not do that with a traditional method. This is where disaggregation comes into play.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Really
That's
exciting.
A good story.
Yeah, that was really. There was another case which was on the downside of things. Networks break, devices break. There's always issues. There are always issues of failure, and we also experienced such a case.
And it could be hardware related, software related.
In this case, it was hardware related, which is kind of put upon us because we are not the hardware provider, and sometimes the hardware fails. That was an NCF, one of the fabric devices, in a live production site. And one of the NCF failed. We needed to put in a new one in place. So, accessing the spare repository and bringing in a new NCF.
NCF is the network cloud fabric.
Exactly, a fabric element, the fabric element of the cluster. Taking out the faulty device, putting in the new one, rearranging the connectivity accordingly. Everything was done again with local personnel. But the interesting thing is that all of this happened with zero outage to the network.
Wow! Because usually when a fabric fails, you have one heck of a blast radius.
Not only that, it's the blast radius when you have a fabric element in a chassis. It's the amount of risk that you're taking, because one fabric device impacts the entire chassis. Accessing the chassis, sometimes it's from the rear, pulling it out. It impacts the power distribution within the chassis. I had cases, in my history where you pull out a card and another card resets. As a result, you don't have that when you have a disaggregated model. So you took the most stringent scenario of your fabric device failing, and essentially it resulted in 0 downtime to the network.
Wow, this is amazing. And again, these are real stories. You know, it's not a script we wrote. It's not a marketing pitch.
We could not invent that script.
Okay, so thank you very much, Ran. Off you go, back to the field.
Back to the field.
Thank you for watching. See you
Can I
next
finish
time.
my tea?
Yeah, but do it fast. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for watching. See you next time on CloudNets.
Next time.
Bye-bye.